episode 140. I am your host, Mark Segovia, alongside OSG. What's going on, OSG? How you feeling,
What's
man?
up, bro? What's up, bro? Doing, man. I'm all right. I am all right. Working on it, but I'll live. I'll live. No, but
Yeah, man. I know we all got life going on and things of that nature, and obviously we're a little bit late today than what we normally do, than the normal time that we try to aim for. So, guys, please bear with us, I guess. But hey, good news to start off the show. First and foremost, guys, we made it to 300 subscribers that on our YouTube page. So thank you guys. We couldn't do it without you guys. And obviously we're onwards and forwards and looking to get to 400 pretty soon, hopefully. But with that being said, guys, obviously I promised as soon as we hit 300 subs, I would like to do a little bit of a giveaway during a time period that we have a tailgate going on, and I think we kind of fell on the 31st of May, if I'm not mistaken, OSG for
yes,
the SKC
you're
game,
correct.
or okay.
You're
I just
correct.
I just want to make sure. But if any, but bearing any changes or anything different, we'll let you guys know. But obviously we got a lot of goodies that we want to give away as an appreciation and thank you to you guys for helping us get to 300 subs and on our YouTube page, and obviously for the further support that you are hoping, or that we're hoping that you give us going here and here on out. But with that being said, OSG, OSG, OSG.
Oh shit.
Um, let me pull out this guy. A little upset, little upset, little upset. Yesterday we've come to the finale of our U.S. Open Cup journey, and unfortunately, it came in the hands of our
Yeah, we have.
bitter little stepbrother, at Austin FC. A 3-1 loss in Austin at Q2 Stadium. Uh, Three goals. What was the demise? Austin came in with their full first team. Ben and the Dynamo decided to go half and half, which I think might have caught them off guard a little bit. It caught me off guard for sure when I saw Austin's full first team there. But I mean, obviously, I guess Nico Esteves, their head coach, has put an emphasis on this tournament. Usually, when coaches are placing their full team like that at early on in this stage, they're putting full emphasis on this tournament. And obviously, Austin wanting to win a championship or win some type of trophy or some type of silverware, legitimate silverware, not that Copa Tejas crap or whatever. I mean, no offense to Copa Tejas and all that stuff or whatever, but but like a legitimate trophy as far as that goes. Your thoughts on the game yesterday, uh, OSG?
Oh man. Well, first off, like you said, they started their starters. We did not. We rotated. We've been asking Ben to rotate forever. He rotated
Yeah.
and got out coached at the same time during the game. So it was just one of those, man, bro. It's like we like to see we like that the other players were getting those opportunities to play. I wish he would have done it the opposite and started the starters and then just taken them out at halftime and then put the subs in and then work your way there. It's better to play strong and work your way back than to be behind and try to come in strong. So it just sucked. The outcome was horrible, and then just the atmosphere for us wearing orange sucked the entire game. Man, it was fun until the whistle blew, pretty much. Well, I
No,
guess
yeah,
not
for
fun
sure. I
until the
mean,
goal.
obviously, I think the you compound the fact that it's against Austin, it's a Texas rival, I guess, quote unquote, and
Let's
things of
go,
that
baby.
nature, and obviously in a knockout tournament where it's one game in advance or one game and go home, and to be honest, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, OSG, excuse me, I I was a bit surprised. I when I saw Austin's lineup, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, um, that just shows me that either Nico is putting his foot forward on this U.S. Open Cup run of his with Austin, and or he's trying to get the team better acquainted with itself because obviously Austin has been ever since they lost to the Dynamo in league play have been kind of faltering and falling down down the standings as of late. So it could be killing two birds with one stone. Obviously, like I said, it's a bad and kind of disappointing situation because, like I said, I enjoy the U.S. Open Cup tournament and obviously the disaster of last year. Losing in the first game. The way we did, and then coming back this season. And then obviously with hopes of getting a little bit further. Now I'm not saying we were going to go out there and lift the title, but I mean, but now it's like you look at the teams left over and the way the groupings are, and it's like, man, we kind of had a pretty we could have had a pretty nice, run into it, But with that being said, obviously, I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback it. The first half, obviously, I think the BRB team, did a pretty good job. Brandon Vasquez obviously got the goal early on before the end of the half, and that was an unfortunate thing. Back to back U.S. Open Cup games where a penalty is given that I think both of us personally thought weren't penalties. So I mean, obviously that didn't help us. That quickly made it 2-0, and then a quick third goal right after that, and then obviously Ponce comes in and scores to make it 3-1 after that. Um, I don't know where too much to really touch on it as far as you know I do appreciate the rotation. I mean, obviously, there's players that need playing. I was surprised to see Jamie Maurer out there over Blake Gillingham. That's one of the big surprises I didn't expect. Not to put any blame on Jimmy or anything like that. Like I said, it was
Put
an
plenty of
unfortunate
it on him.
situation. Huh?
Put
It
plenty
was
of it
an
on.
unfor-
Blake should have been the starter right there. Well, why wasn't Blake starting? Who's Maurer, the next coach in the making to be
Yeah, I
to
know. No,
replace
yeah, for sure, for
our
sure. I,
badass
I
coach?
I know.
Come on,
I've talked to.
bro.
I know I talked to a couple of guys from the group, and and I was like, look, Maurer. Obviously, I understand that he's the number two right now for in our league play, but he's just really there for the veteran as a veteran presence. And Blake, obviously, doing what he was able to do in a time of where we were in dire need of a keeper. And he's shown that he is really a keeper for us in the long haul. You want to keep developing him and
But now
keeping
you don't use him. You don't let him play for Dose. You don't let him
now
play in the Open
we're
Cup. He
now we're
doesn't
out of the
even make the.
tournament.
Yeah, bro.
No, I get it. Look, now we're out of the tournament, and now unfortunately it's gonna be a lot of less playing time for a lot of players that are fringe, players. So I mean, it's an unfortunate thing. That's one of the things about this tournament that's helped us out a lot as far as the last couple of years because obviously it's allowed us to it's allowed a lot of players to grow. I mean, you take players like Eric Duenas, who doesn't get no playing time in the league play. Obviously we mentioned Gillingham. Players like Ladero Taganis and Ladero's times is shrinking as far as MLS play time goes, but he's a leader on the pitch for those other guys. We saw Toyasi finally get a nice amount of minutes to showcase what he's capable of, and and obviously he was out there running and playing hard, as hard as you can. But obviously he still needs time to get acclimated to the system and build that chemistry up with the players around him. We saw Ortiz, we saw Andrade, back to back games, for the newcomers and stuff like that. So it's always good to see the newcomers always come in and get acclimated. Maybe not the best game for Ortiz. Andrade, in my opinion, was solid again. But like I said, unfortunately, we're out. Any? Do you want to throw a prediction up as far as who might lift this cup with the
God,
teams
bro.
remaining?
There's who. San Jose,
San
because
Jose.
that's who plays
Hey,
Austin next. That's
hey,
because I play.
and San Jose has pretty good offensive players with Hernan Lopez and Joseph Martinez and Arango. So I mean they're pretty capable. So I wouldn't be
And
surprised
they're
if them,
hosting.
especially with Brucey up there coaching those guys. So it'd be a good stepping stone for those guys to get up there and try to collect that trophy. But maybe Philadelphia
Hey,
Union would be one of those teams as well. But
there
we'll
you
see.
go.
We'll see
Yeah,
what happens.
that's the one.
But
That's probably
anyways,
the
let's
one.
not let's not dwell too much in the negativity of obviously getting ousted in the U.S. Open Cup. But let's go into the positive times that we're in right now as far as league play. Back to back wins. We go to Frisco, bring a W back for the first time in I don't know how long, over a decade for sure.
2011, September
So
2011.
almost 14 years that we haven't had a win in Frisco. And we bring one back. That makes it back to back wins for the Dynamo in league play. And slowly but surely, we're moving up the stands. We're moving up the standings, and slowly but surely. But hey, as long as we keep going up, that's all that matters. Your thoughts on the game at Frisco OSG? Obviously, the goal scorers were Dorsey and McGlynn with the rocket shot. I believe it's been finalized. He did win MLS Goal of the Week, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. That banger was banger of the week. McGlynn was
Banger of the
awesome.
week.
Dorsey with that final up from the same spot, less power, obviously. Put
Hmm.
his little curve to it. But those were two great goals. That was a great game. That was a good performance. That was a positive performance. Greatest gave us a lot of optimism going into this game against Austin that were we just talked about. So man, Ben just I don't know. There's not a lot to blame on Ben right now. I wish he just would have rotated different for the Open Cup. But
Yeah,
as far as Dallas wins, that was we needed that. Like I said, 2011 was the only time we won in Frisco. Before that, our trophy's
not
been there a
anymore.
little longer than that last win. So, you know, funny that our trophy's there. So finally to win it. And but what's more important, Mark, is the cannon comes home. The cannon friggin' comes home. Finally. Finally, it's been
No, Capitan.
been a long
For
time
those
coming.
who are not familiar with the canon that he's speaking of, um, but yeah,
Right, right.
2-0
Sorry, my
win.
English voice.
2-0 win. So it's always good, obviously we had, and the Dynamo had a good amount of people traveling to that stadium showing support for those guys, and obviously it's always great to see traveling fans, especially when it's a rivalry game like it is with Frisco. Always good to see. One of the things that I've noticed, OSG, I was looking up some stats and some stuff, and like obviously when I'm doing
Uh
a
oh.
little bit of notes for the show, I'm looking up things and trying to see and trying to connect little things here that people might not see. But obviously, the goal scoring, right? We don't have that predominant prolific goal scorer on our team at this moment, right? We're hoping with the Linger and Ponce, once they get acclimated with each other, that they'll become that for us. But up until now, it's kind of goals by committee, and it's kind of scattered around. And I was looking at our defense, man, and basically everybody on our defense backline has scored goals, man. With the exception of Shevchenko, which is kind of crazy, to think that our center backs and wide backs are the ones scoring the goals for us and really lifting us. I mean, obviously Jackie with a couple of long bangers that he's had this season is leading the way as well with I think 3 goals in the season on an MLS play. I think he's tied with Ponce if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, a lot of defensive help as far as these set pieces and corner kicks and stuff like that. A lot of headers going in. Obviously, last week's game, not the game prior to the Frisco game, we saw Ortiz and Andrade score their first MLS league goals of their career for the Dynamo. Obviously,
History.
Andrade scored in the first U.S. Open Cup game, so I mean that was back-to-back games for him scoring. So it's kind of a good look. I mean, obviously you're always wanting to have help with the goal scoring burden. So your thoughts on the defense being such a sneaky offensive threat for us?
I like that our defense is that productive offensively.
Hmm.
I hate that they make the mistakes defensively that puts us in situations we can't come back from. But like you said, where are the forwards and the wingers scoring? Why is it the defenders? Why is it McGlynn in the midfield? And Linger, he's midfield, but depends on where he's at. How come it's so much trouble to score goals? Go back to the Austin game. 19 shots, 3 on target
Yeah.
is a friggin' joke. Is a friggin' joke. You're gonna take a shot. You can't put it between the friggin' bars. That's all you do is play soccer as a professional. Put it between the friggin' bars. You take shots. I mean, granted the defense gets you in your way, but come on, man. This is it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing,
No,
and
I mean it's the same song that we've been singing.
Inferno. Hmm.
It's
And
the
Inferno,
same
he
song
can't
we've been
wait for
singing the
Holmes
whole
to
season.
come in. We need more replacements that are still coming. And Nolly,
Yeah.
Holmes, but we're getting impatient here.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, look, I mean, if we're looking at things the bright side, hey, Christian Flores says can't wait for Holmes. Shout out to you, Christian. Appreciate you interacting with us during the
Oh,
show.
you're welcome.
Man, obviously we would love to have a more prolific goal scorer, but obviously, I'll take the goals wherever I can get them, especially if it's going to help us win
Of course.
and keep going up the table, right? Obviously, I didn't expect the 2-0 win against Minnesota, but I mean, we got it at home. Obviously, the 2-0 win against Frisco is a huge boost. As far as like road points, like I said, road points are golden points, and we've been collecting a lot of ties on the road, and to pick up this huge win, a win that we haven't had on in Frisco's territory for like almost over a decade, like you just mentioned prior. It's a sign of good things, and I think it's a sign of the team finally kind of getting acclimated to each other and understanding where everybody's at. But obviously, it still comes to the final third. We're still not seeing that creativity and the final third of the offense. We're still not seeing that creativity, that connection, the knowing where everybody's at, and unfortunately, I like you seen like Ponce wasn't available for the Frisco game, so for whatever reason I think he had like a little nick or whatever. But Linger got an opportunity at the nine. Obviously he does this thing running around trying to get open and trying to make things happen, but then nothing came in for him. And like I mentioned, who scores our goals? Our right back Dorsey, and obviously Jackie McGlynn with the banger. Minnesota, who's Minnesota game? Who scores our goals? Andrade with from a set piece, and Ortiz with a header from a
Yep.
corner kick. So I mean, it's a hey, I mean, as long as the ball's hitting the back of the net, at this point, I guess. Look, I don't care. I guess if we have 8 players with 5 goals apiece is the same as having 2 players with 20 goals apiece. So I mean,
But
as
Mark,
long
we do. But Mark, we do care. We do care because those goals aren't getting us the victories right now. Granted, the
yeah,
game we're talking about now, 2-0 against Dallas, we won, and you're happy for goals. We
yeah.
scored 1 goal against Austin. Are you happy for that goal that Ponce got it? I mean, I'm happy that Ponce got the goal, but 19 shots, 3 on target, one goes to the
Yeah,
net. You miss all those others that go just over and over and
yeah, but I,
over.
but I,
You're
but
like,
I,
come
but I,
on,
but I
guys.
think but obviously I think that because of the way the game was, and they're trying to press, and this is the thing, obviously, right? And we'll just use the Austin game as an example. Because I mean we've seen it. I think we've kind of seen it in the Ben Olsen era of the team, where when once the Dynamo fall behind, it's like now you want to show up and now you want to press and go and shoot out of desperation and stuff like that. Like, nah, man, you should always be pressing and hit and going and striving to score, and things of that nature. So like, obviously the more pressure that you apply, the more the defense starts to bend and hopefully you break, and you break through and you start scoring goals. But it's just one of those things where like I feel that if the Dynamo score first, you know that they're gonna kind of relax a little bit, kind of let the counter or let the pressure of the other team come at them a little bit harder, and they're gonna withstand as much as they can. But if the opposition scores first, then they're all oh, we gotta get going, we gotta get going. When realistically it should be reverse. You should be ready to go regardless. We should always be looking to score the first goal because we're not a team equipped to come from behind. We're not. I mean, like you
Nope.
said, how many times
Rough
have we
sledding.
seen a double digit shots on goal, whatever, or just shots in general, but then it's one goal or no goals, and then you see our opposition have like 8 shots and then like 4 shots on goal and then like 3 goals, and it's frustrating. It is frustrating, but we got to play with what we got. And unfortunately, like I said, we don't have a prolific striker at this moment where we can just count on him to just take over. I do believe that Ponce does have the skills to do it, but I just don't think that he's getting the service that he needs. But
Hmm.
again, that's another topic for another day. Let me ask you something, LSG. I posted this
That's
question
what
in
you
the
get from a
Discord.
target striker.
Yeah, I posted this question in the Discord, and I like to get your opinion on it. Would you trade the Frisco win for the Austin loss?
Hmm.
So obviously for
This
you
season,
for the crowd not knowing, if he
ye-
does, that means he moves on in the U.S. Open Cup and plays San Jose, and but obviously we lose against Frisco, and I think we're probably bottom two on the table at the moment, if I'm not mistaken.
right. Well, and that's why I'm going to kind of lean towards the Open Cup for this season, just because of where we're at in the table and what
Hmm.
we're doing in the MLS is just kind of mediocre. So it would have been nice for us to focus on this Open Cup game and move forward. So, ye- yes, I would trade the Dallas game for the Open Cup win because I do believe Holmes and Nolly. I mean, those are kind of the last two players coming in. Uh, maybe a DP, maybe a summer signing of something of of a splash or whatever that helps us move our way back up the standings. So yes, I would take the Open Cup win over the Dallas Cup win right now. But that's still hard because I mean either way you're a loser either way. You're a loser
Yeah,
either way.
I mean, well,
Against
the
your
U.S. Open,
rivals.
the U.S. Open Cup, you're eliminated. We're eliminated. So I mean, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, you're
This,
gone.
yeah. So you're gone. Obviously the season continues. You're not in 10th place where we're at in the moment. You're probably around 13th. Thanking God that LA Galaxy exists still. So that would be the trade off here. Um, but obviously we still got 2/3 of the season to go. So we still have enough time to make some strides in the table. But I mean, it's hard, right? It's hard, right? Because obviously silverware is something that all supporters and fans want to look for and want to be able to lift. Obviously making the playoffs is something that supporters look forward to as well. And I think obviously because of the way the U.S. Open Cup is formatted, obviously had we still been in the tournament, I think it's a much more light at the end of the tunnel where we can see us possibly lifting that trophy for a third time, as opposed to, hey, are we going to be able to make the playoffs? Are we going to be able to fight for a playoff position? Or is this just what it is that we kind of we dug ourselves such a huge hole from the start of the season that we can't really get out of it, and we're kind of fighting between 10 and 14 or whatever. Christian says he'll take the Dallas win. Obviously, like I said, look, the Dallas win. It's the first win that we've had in over damn near 15 years. So I mean, obviously, it's a huge get for us as far as rivalry goes. He says the U.S. Open Cup you already lifted twice, but I mean, look, to be honest, I want to lift as many trophies as possible. It doesn't matter how many of whatever it is, So, and especially because uh, the U.S. Open Cup gets you a direct path to the Concacaf Champions Cup as well. So that's another thing that really benefits the club. And obviously, I think I believe the prize has actually been raised up from 300,000 to over 1 million, if I'm not mistaken, either. So obviously, that's an even bigger incentive as well as far as prize money goes for winning the tournament. Yeah, so Adrian says now we should focus on Open Cup, even if we qualify for MLS Cup. There's no guarantee we advance deep in it. Yeah, like I said, I mean, this isn't the same Dynamo team of the last 2 years where, like, where we had where we were kind of that dark horse MLS Cup contender. This is basically a brand new teams with obviously new players and new features and new styles of play. And we're all trying to get everything acclimated. And look, the best case scenario here for the season is OSG, let me know if you agree with
Mm,
me. Let me know if you agree with me.
okay.
Is
Go
we
ahead.
hit we come into late July, August, September, and we have our full team, and we hit a good stride to the point where we're clicking, right? And then obviously, like, hey, as long as we sneak in, once you get to the playoffs, everybody's 0-0. But if we're that hot team coming into the MLS Cup playoffs, with momentum and chemistry and all our players available, I mean,
Hmm.
who's to say we can't make a deep run? You know, I think you and I believe that Inali is a great talent that hopefully can provide some spark.
Yes,
Holmes hopefully is
he'll
another
be
one.
back.
Linger and Ponce would have already 4 months together. You know, so your thoughts on it?
The biggest question mark is Ben, and how is he going to utilize this lineup when he has all the pieces in front of him? Because we know how he loves his players and his particulars, and he's going to be a bitch because somebody doesn't do well in practice, i.e., the Sebas saga. But there's everything. So it questions what is Ben going to do, and how's Ben going to do it with this situation that he has with his team? I want Holmes to start. I think Holmes needs to work with Archer right there, or be Archer's replacement to give Archer a break, and then come in and start, and then and Nolly back on that left wing is going to stretch it and just do so
Yeah,
friggin' much. It's going to
man,
be incredible.
that kid was such a great addition.
And the man chose us over Europe.
Yeah,
Man has a plan.
dude, and like and to be honest, like the second I saw that kid play, I was like, wait a second, this is something different here. It was something different, And then that LAFC game where he scored the goal, I was like, yo, this is the last game he's coming off the bench. And then the ACL thing happens. And I'm
He
like,
fucked it
geez,
up now.
I'm already thinking like, look, this is the end of the Aliu era. We don't have to worry about this. We're finally gonna have a legit left wing, blah blah blah. This kid is amazing. He's willing to take on players one v one. He knows how to dribble. He has the tactical skills. And he wants to show out. Man, I just it really breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart thinking about that situation during that time period. But like I said, he's young. He was able to recuperate. He's on the recovery path, and it's going a lot faster than what we thought it was going to be. So that's always the positive and good thing about it. So we just hopefully he comes back stronger and with a lot more will to come out here and obviously provide the spark that we need. Um, but with that being said,
Ready for
OSG,
Leagues Cup.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, look, yeah, I mean, look, one tournament is done. Well, luckily for us, we're one of the few teams that got chosen to play for both the Leagues Cup and U.S. Open Cup. So it's a great opportunity that we get to participate in both of those. And hopefully, and who knows, maybe Leagues Cup is the way for us to go. To qualify for Champions Cup because I think if I'm not mistaken, it's the top three of that tournament qualify for it, right?
I think you're right. If somebody hasn't qualified already, but I just mentioned Leagues Cup just to get those players time in a tournament that maybe isn't we're not expected to win, and unless you're going for that CCC title or to that. I mean, I know Ben's going to, but I was just mentioning CC just to get Holmes and Anali more
Yeah,
time so that we can come back and we're focused and we're ready for the MLS Cup stretch on the end that you were pointing out to there.
yeah,
Previously, a few minutes ago, where you're gonna be streaking, you're gonna be hot, and you're going into the playoffs. You might be the 7th seed, you might be the 8th seed, you might be the play-in, but you're hot and you can go with it somewhere
for
because
sure.
you are a good team. But you just took you a minute to get to that point. But that's the parity of the MLS, and that's what transfer windows do for you too. It's the same time, and then 16 players coming off the injured list.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I mean, like I said, even though I mean, but look, I mean, we're going the right way. we're in 10th place right now. Obviously, one spot off of the playing spots, which is eighth and ninth. Currently being held by Frisco
Yeah.
and Austin, if I'm not mistaken. Ironically, and not.
The triangle is 9, 10, and 11, and we're 10.
Yeah, so I mean, we're I guess for how we started, we're in a good position right now at this moment, and obviously the game against San Jose this weekend is gonna speak a lot, obviously speak a lot of volumes. I mean, we've historically against San Jose, it's been kind of up and down, up and down, up and down. They'll beat us big, or we'll beat them big, and then we'll lose to them big, or we'll beat them big again. So I mean, hopefully it's looking the way of we win again this time. We'll see what happens this Saturday. Your thoughts on this game for this Saturday against San Jose? Like I said, I've mentioned the big players that they have. They and they're coming off a high of not only qualifying for the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup, but they put an ass whooping to Inter Miami. Inter Miami with Messi, they gave
Four to
them an
one.
ass whooping. So San Jose is riding on a huge high. Your thoughts on this game?
San Jose, no joke. They're a +8 goal differential at home. They scored 22 goals at home as well, too, at the same time. So they're no joke. They're a playoff team, right? They're what, sixth place, right. Eighth place. Sorry, they're eighth place team with 18 points. Scored 11 points at home. They've scored 22 of their 29 games at home too. So it's a different environment when they're at home and they're a different team. So that's gonna be scary. We're also a different team when we play on the road, but we are also the Houston Dynamo this year, where it doesn't matter if you're at home or on the road. We're just kind of who's going to show up, who's going to play, are we going to make mistakes? So, am
And
I
it's a huge
optimistic about this game? No, sir.
Yeah, and it's a huge game as far as standings go as well, because they're in the eighth spot while we're in the 10th spot. And they're 2 points ahead of us. So I mean, if we pulled out the win, that means we go ahead of them, above a point. So I think it's a lot of writing in this game. But like I said, San Jose is coming in on a super high. Obviously qualifying for the semis and the U.S. Open Cup. And then obviously the ass whooping they gave Inter Miami. I mean, it's kind of crazy to see how when you bring in a knowledgeable coach like Bruce Arenas, who we've known has won everywhere he's gone in MLS, former USA men's national teams coach as well, with what he wants to bring when he finds the type of player profile that he wants to bring in. He has, like I said, Joseph Martinez, who's a top six all time MLS goal scorer, Christian Arango, who obviously was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he won a Golden Boot with LAFC, and then obviously came back and was still scoring for Real Salt Lake, and somehow he ended up in San Jose, and he's still scoring. Hernan Lopez, who for those who don't know, he is the nephew of one Argentine legend, Diego Armando Maradona. So he has that blood running through his
Yep.
veins as well. So and Christian Espinosa as well as another one who's a playmaker for that squad. They just got a lot. They got a lot of veteran presence, and they have a lot of players who know how to put the ball in the back of the net. A lot of experience, and then obviously, like I said, I mean, just a true soccer coach and Bruce Arenas, who's willing to make tactical changes if needed, to get the result that he needs out of that game. One of the things that you can separate between like a manager and a head coach is somebody who's willing to make the proper changes, when needed mid game. The game might not be going the way you want it, but the way that you can change the way the outcome comes is by changing formation, changing tactics, putting in the player that nobody might have thought of. And Brucey is one of those coaches that he's willing to put in whoever he feels is going to provide that spark for his club and his team. So it's like I said, it's going to be a tough go at San Jose. They're a
That's
team
why
on the up.
Bruce Arena brought half of New England with him to San Jose.
Yeah,
he took
exactly.
us
Yeah,
there.
he brought the good side of New England, because New England's not doing anything, and San Jose's over here, doing great things. So, Michael Kay, who, obviously we know he's a Canadian
Yeah.
international. Just I mean, like I said, if you guys take a look at that roster, you just see names upon names of players that been there, done that, lifted titles, and won stuff. So there you go.
There they are.
There they are.
That's
Lima,
the
all those
main
guys.
eleven.
But
Espinoza wasn't in there because but he is a main piece for San Jose. So they ain't no joke, and this is going to be a tough one. But they do give up goals. They score goals, but they
yeah,
also give up
their
goals. So
defense is
this
a
is one
little
of those games.
shaky.
Whose game plan is going to work better? Yeah,
Yeah, their defense is a little shaky, so you would hope that the Dynamo can take advantage of that and score goals. Because like I said, we've yet to see them score goals at a high volume in a game. Agent says we beat Minnesota, we can beat high level teams, but the boys need to put them in a shift on the pitch, and yeah,
100%.
which I totally agree. Like I said, I mean, I think it's just the they need to find that chemistry and that creativity with each other. Look, look, one thing that I've noticed, obviously, and Jack McGlynn, I criticized him in the beginning. He's coming out of his shell. He's being more. He's being more noticeable on the offensive side of the ball, taking those long hits, those bangers. Hey, look, as long as he keeps shooting them, I don't mind, man. He's that left leg of his, the left foot is doing the damn thing, and he's coming out of a shell, and that's great. But obviously, but now I want to see Bossy improve. I want to see him lift this game up. Linger, obviously, the first two games were great games. The game tying goal for his debut, and then a game winning goal for a second game. I mean, it was a great start, but now we've had 3 games in a row, no goals or anything like that. You know, we need to see him come back in there and get acclimated. Ponce, the same thing. Obviously he scored against Austin, which is a good thing to see out there after we didn't know why he missed the Frisco game, but great to see him put the ball in the back of the net. Hopefully that builds on his confidence and he's able to go do that again this weekend against San Jose. Um, Kowalovic, obviously he's getting a lot. He was one of those guys that were getting a lot of time in the U.S. Open Cup, and I wasn't seeing a lot from him. I like Little Sebas, but I wasn't seeing enough. And he's just one of those guys that I feel if he's going to come off the bench and try to create that spark for us, against tired legs, he needs to take the bull by the horns and control the narrative and be and go in there and score and go in there with the mentality of wanting to score. But yeah, man, guys, look, not going to be an easy game. OSG, your prediction?
Oh man, so not the optimistic soccer guy. This is a follow up from this game, and oh man, 3-1 again. 3-1 against San Jose. I don't know how to predict a Dynamo win when it's so tough to predict what you're going to get from this friggin' team. So, bro, I don't know. It's hard to predict a win. I'm not confident. I'm not optimistic for this game.
Got you, guys. And also, if you want to share predictions as well, OSG will put them on the screen for me to see. So, uh, if you don't mind sharing your predictions as well, who scores the goal for the Dynamo?
Oh wow, which defender plays? um, wow, wow. I don't know. But maybe Archer gets one now. I can't predict a forward scoring one. So
Yeah.
Archer scores one this game. Archer, or maybe Bossy with a friggin' penalty kick because just we deserve something from the league right now, right? So we
Right.
deserve nothing. But also a question for you before you give your prediction or
Mhm.
after you give your prediction. I kind of here. I'll just put it up there, but because I want to hear your prediction too. But just something for you to linger here in a little bit
Oh, okay,
as
okay,
we
yeah, for
use
sure. Yeah,
here as a
we'll get to
segue,
that. We'll
right?
get to that. Obviously we know McGlynn's
Yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah.
He's been called up for the U.S. and mentioned men's national team by Pochettino and all that good stuff, which is great for him as an individual. Kind of sorry for us. I don't think he misses any games with this upcoming, but I don't know. I gotta look at the schedule. My
No, this
predictions.
the
So we,
next one. You're right. The international break. You're right. Gold Cup though he has been put on the Gold Cup, so that he
Yeah,
will
yeah, Gold
miss.
Cup he'll miss.
So that's a month.
As far as predictions, we talked about obviously San Jose being a high, having players who know how to put the ball in the back of the net. and we also talk about their shaky defense. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see it as a high scoring game. I think, but unfortunately, I don't think it goes the Dynamo's way. I think it's gonna be San Jose 4, Dynamo 3.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Yeah,
I
San
love
Jose.
those games. I love those games.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
We can have
I
them
mean, I
too.
would love it if it's 4-3 Dynamo. That would be great. But I mean, but like obviously the offensive power of Arango and Joseph Martinez and Lopez and Espinosa and those guys, it might be a little bit too much. I mean, look, I like what the defense is looking like for our RN as well. I think Andrade has come in and he's really shown that he deserves to be in the first team and he doesn't want to go back to Dynados. Obviously, we know what Escobar can do. We know what Dorsey can do. We know what Stearns and Bartlow can do. Ortiz is obviously, I think he's played 3 games. I think he's had really 2 really good games. The Austin game, he was a little shaky. I'm not sure what was going on there. Maybe just the size of Brandon Vasquez kind of bothered him. Well, I'm not too sure, but he's a big guy, so I'm not sure why that would bother him. But he just didn't look as as uh as productive as he did his first couple of games. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, But yeah, I think it's going to be a high offensive game. I would love for it to be 4-3 Dynamo, but I think I'm going to go 4-3 San Jose. And who scores my goals? Who are scoring my goals? 2-1 San Jose sadly wins. Adrian says, yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Like I said, San Jose is riding on a huge high, on a huge high.
And
Who
we,
scores my goals, OSG? Who scores
of
my
our
goals?
17 wins, we've won 7 times in San
Who?
Jose. Jack McGlynn. Jack McGlynn.
Jackie McGlynn. Okay, I'll give one of the, I'll give one to Jackie. Dynamo have to win to make. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Yeah, for sure. If the Dynamo won this to make up for the Austin loss, that would be a huge makeup for the Austin loss. Um, so I'm gonna go Jackie
Olse
McGlynn.
goal mark would be a great prediction.
I'm gonna go Linger, and I'm gonna go. You know what? You know who I'm gonna give a goal to? Somebody who hasn't scored an MLS goal yet in his career. Brooklyn Reigns. So I like how your eyes opened up like that.
I was ready for it. I was like, who? I'm for it. I'm all for it too. Reigns needs one, man. He's been
Yeah.
getting the
So
time, and the coach has been impressed with him. A goal would be special.
yeah. I mean, obviously we know he scored one against in the U.S. Open Cup last couple of seasons ago, but yeah, I think it's time for him to get his account open for MLS. So Reigns, McGlynn, and Linger. So with that being said, guys,
Wow, bro. Wow.
let me. So obviously, OSG popped up a question earlier before I give my predictions about Jackie McGlynn. Congratulations to Jack McGlynn for being called up once again to the USA men's national team. He'll be playing in a couple of friendlies here, and obviously playing in the Gold Cup for the USA's men's national team, which I think is a great experience for him. As far as him being a young player, a lot of the big guys, veterans like Pulisic and Musa, and those guys are going to be unavailable due to obviously a lot of European games and trying to work their ways back from like little injuries and get ready for the next season and the European campaign. So
Club World
one
Cup.
person's loss is another person's gain. So I think McGlynn really gains a lot from the fact that Pulisic and those guys are going to be absentees in these tournaments and games coming up. So obviously, we look forward to McGlynn representing Houston and Dynamo in a strong way, and hopefully, he gets a lot of minutes and a lot of running time for Pochettino, and he can showcase to Poch that he is a serious contender to be one of those first names called up for the USA men's national team every time international competitions happen. So, with that being said, how does this affect the Dynamo? Who comes in place of him for the Dynamo? Well, the obvious choice would be Dwayne Holmes. Holmes is about ready to start to come in. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe get a couple of minutes against San Jose this weekend. Last time he was on the bench, but he was just there as far as like um as far as just for body count or whatever. But yeah, but
For body.
from all indications and from everything everybody's been saying, Holmes is practically already ready. He just needs to get the reps in and trying to get the stamina up and all that good stuff. So uh that would be the perfect guy, in my opinion, to take over for McGlynn during the time period that he is
Agreed.
gone. But if Holmes is not ready or he's not capable at that time, who else would be? Who else would I think would be a great candidate to go up there? It's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. Maybe. Hmm. I can't. I wouldn't say Ladero, because Ladero plays a different type of game than McGlynn, and obviously he's not as fast as McGlynn anymore. He's more. I think Ladero is more technically gifted, but but as far as velocity is not the same. Um, Herman, what's going on, bud? Let's go
Oh,
Dynamo. Maybe push Basi back. Koala is on the left.
all
Uh,
right. So, hmm,
Linger on the right,
I
Ponce
don't
on the
know,
front.
Bossy.
Yeah, I mean Bossy. I mean,
Can we put Linger in the middle, please?
I guess you could do Linger as far as the. I mean, you can push Linger back, but I think I would love him. I would want him up front for right now until we actually get somebody
No, no. Ponce and Linger, top and bottom, top and bottom, top and
as
bottom,
a second
and
striker.
You put Seba as a false nine, as the cam, as whatever, but Linger in the middle because of how much he can do and what he can do and where he goes on the field. Bossy isn't the same. Seba isn't the same. Seba can be our left wing. Bossy can be that right cam or whatever to replace McGlynn and
But
be that
McGlynn
guy
is
that moves along there
But
towards
McGlynn. But I don't think McGlynn plays that style though. Or we're just
McGlynn ain't
changing the style. Or
playing.
we're changing the style up.
No, we're not changing the style. We're filling the position. McGlynn's playing the Ram right now, the Coco spot. So who plays Coco's spot, McGlynn's spot, if he's missing? You have a Saba and you have a Bossy. You do have a Linger. You do have a Lodero. Ben doesn't know how to use them properly, is what we're going to say. I'd rather have Linger in the middle. And if you're going to put somebody at the Ram, go ahead and put Bossy there at the Ram. If Holmes is not ready, Seba can be that wing until Anali's ready. Once those two are
Hmm.
ready, I'm sorry, Bossy and Seba, go to the friggin' bench. Can Reigns cover for McGlynn? I think Cooligan, I it's possible, but Reigns can't get high enough to be an effective goal
No,
creator
I
and a
think
threat.
Reigns is more. I think Reigns is more of a defensive option than an offensive option.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Jeff
So
is
no
asking,
to your
could
answer,
Reigns
Jeff.
cover
Sorry.
McGlynn? I think Reigns can cover McGlynn's defensive situations. He can give whoever really replaces McGlynn the cover to allow that player to be more offensive. So, for example, in this case, let's say it is Holmes, right? Holmes can focus more on the
Hmm.
offensive side of the ball, where Reigns can take more of the defensive assignments away from Holmes to for him to focus offensive and Reigns focus on the defensive along with Arthur or Uso, depending on whoever's playing the six at that time period. Um, and I think that allows Holmes or Bossy or Linger or whoever you want to put in that role for McGlynn to fully become that playmaker, I guess, that quote unquote 10, but I don't really think there's a 10 spot in Olsen's tactics. I think it's more obviously we know it's a 6 and 2 8s, but I mean, but 1 8 gets to be more offensive and the other 8 gets to be a little bit more defensive. And in that situation, I would think obviously Reigns would be the more defensive 8 as opposed to Holmes being the more offensive 8 on that in that midfield. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think Reigns can do a job. I think he's shown that he's capable of doing a job, and doing that thing. Is he suspended? Wait a second. Is he suspended for this game since he got the red card?
Reigns?
Yeah, remember
It's
he
an
got the
Open
two.
Cup game, so no, he's suspended for the next Open Cup game
Are
next
you
year.
sure? I'm not. I
Well,
gotta
he's
look
got a
into it.
red card in the Open Cup game. He's not. It
I
has nothing to
well,
do with
you
MLS. Yeah,
well,
looking into it, but yeah,
yeah, I gotta look
he's
into it.
suspended for next year against Birmingham FC, whoever we play in the first round of the Open Cup next year,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what
or
happens.
whoever he plays for, he's suspended for next U.S. Open Cup game. But no, those I'm 99% sure those do not translate to MLS play at all.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But with that being said, guys, I mean, yeah, I think Holmes is obviously the preferable choice in this situation, with the fact that he should be on his way. I mean, he should be on. I feel like he should be on the bench this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, I think Holmes is the choice to go. US Open Cup. Yes, yeah,
Obviously not a starter. Obviously not a starter, but yeah.
yeah. Um, Got OG, anything? I'm sorry, man. I'm over here looking at something. Anything else that you want to talk about before we head on out?
No, no, just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding. Like, man, I'm just looking. I'm just looking forward to what we have coming up. This is gonna be a very tough road, as Ben is talked about in the press conference. We play San Jose on Saturday night, and then we have to travel across country to New York City. I do not think we're coming home. Uh, yeah. So Ben, as Herman said, Ben said post game, it is next year's Open Cup to confirm. But we have to after San Jose, we have to travel all the way to New York City, and they're not coming. They're not coming home to Houston on in between that like they did last week to when they went from Phoenix. So he's not happy about that part of the scheduling. That sucks. But I'm oh man, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to seeing our players return, our injured players return, our signed players finally start playing, and then I could really. I'm sorry, Ben. We share the same birthday, but I'm judging you, and I'm ready to throw everything at you because I'm expecting more out of you now. The
Well,
players are here. These are the players you asked for. Granted, injuries have been hard on us, but luck has not gone our way at the same time, and referees
yeah.
suck right now. And I
Well, I
don't
mean,
talk
like
about referees.
we mentioned a couple shows back that May was going to be a kind of make or break month for the Dynamo, with so many games uh uh, uh jammed up against each other, right? Right now we've played four games, and we're two wins and two losses. So we're at 6 points with three games to go, which is obviously the Saturday against San Jose, Wednesday the 28th against NYCFC, and the 31st against Kansas City. So there's 9 points available. We already have six out of the possible 12. Um, I mean, it's a make or break month. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, I would love to see us get. I mean, all 9 points would be amazing. I think if we're able to get five to seven, would be a great job, pat in the back for the guys. But we'll see how it goes. Obviously it starts this Saturday against San Jose, and then unfortunately for us, the way we predicted, it doesn't look like they're going to get any points from San Jose. But hopefully we're proven wrong and all that good stuff. But with that being said, OSG, we are in 10th place currently, and because of that, my question does change. I am no longer asking you if the Dynamo are MLS worse. Now I am asking you, do you think the Dynamo are playoff bound?
I am still gonna be the optimistic potentially with the addition of players coming from injury and players just being ready. And hopefully, I still am gonna. The trust is going down. The trust is definitely going down, but I'm still gonna trust that Ben can figure out how to use these players properly and get us back. With 2 years in a row, right? Two playoff years in a row. So
Hey,
we know Ben can
back to
do it.
back league wins.
Back to yeah, yeah. So man, I'm gonna say yes. And I predicted third prior to the season. I'm still sticking with it. I'm not ready to give up on third place in the West just yet.
Wow,
Wait for
third
League's
place.
Cup to
Wow.
complete, and then we'll see what happens. And then I stick with what you said at the beginning. That's what we got to do. You know what? I said third. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm still that little very rare potential, that one little rice that's still sticking over there that hadn't hardened yet. I'm still ready to eat it, right? But so that's the optimistic soccer guy in me. But I'm not. I can very easily change.
Has anyone had a chance to see how Holmes looks in practice? Jeff says 2-1 Dynamo for this
This is
Saturday.
tough.
Um, I haven't had a chance to see him from. I mean, he seems fit. He seems good. He looks good. I mean, I haven't seen him personally in practice. I don't know if you can uh, give us any insight. OSG.
Mark, our girl used our girl Houston Sports Images. Houston Sports Images. If you're not need to follow on any platform, all platforms, some girl on Twitter or X is her name. Houston Sports Images at every single practice, at every single game, at most of everything and anything, and been doing this for 15 friggin' years. She's a professional. She takes really good pictures. .com, Houston Sports Images, TikTok, anything. So we can't see players at practice. We can only see players during warm up. So that's where you get some, like you see Anali pictures, you see Quinones pictures, getting people hopeful that they're
Yeah,
available and getting close to being available. So in warm ups, he looks ready to go. He is
he
fulfilling
looks great.
practicing with the team now. He is available on the bench like last week. So I'm expecting him to be on the bench against San Jose, and I'm expecting to get late minutes against San Jose because you know how Ben is. He's gonna
Mhm.
use you, but he's gonna use you like this much, and then he'll use you this much, and then he'll use you this much, and then it'll be 6 months later, and he'll use you this much. I'm ready for Holmes. I'm
Hey
ready.
man,
He's this
get off my
close,
coach's back. We
and
got
then
get off my
Anali
coach's
goes
back. We
right
got back to back wins,
behind him.
back to back wins in the league, man. Get off his back. Get off his back. Um, so yeah,
No,
so we'll see,
sir.
we'll see what happens with that, guys. Obviously, like I said, for me, I think the Dynamo can be playoff bound. Obviously, these next three games are gonna speak volumes as far as whether or not whether or not I feel that way going into June. We'll see what happens. But with that being said, it's always a challenge, and sometimes when these challenges occur, you got to man up and and beat these challenges or fall back and stay in your place. So hopefully the Dynamo man up and do what they need to do to hopefully get to that third place OSG is speaking about, which is only 8 points away from where we're at currently. So, but I like the optimism. I like the optimism. I just want them to be able to be in the playoffs for a third season in a row because obviously once the playoffs comes, anything can happen. With that being said, guys, again, I want to thank you guys again from the bottom of my heart, OSG, Andres, Juan, all the guys from Noodle Time and Dynamo Foxtrot and all that stuff. Obviously helping us get to 300 subscribers on YouTube. And all the good stuff. Follow us on X. Everything. OSG, you know the platforms better than I do. So go ahead and let these people know where they can follow us and all that good stuff.
And like you said, big shout out to y'all that did subscribe. 300 subscribers on YouTube is massive for us. We've been working it. We've been doing it. And we appreciate y'all as well. Number 300 was, which is kind of winky dinky, or I don't. And I'll let you choose the word. Aliu Goat was subscriber number 300, right? So I don't know how you take that, but
Hey,
Aliu Goat,
once
shout out to you.
hey
The Liu army still exists in the
once an
Dynamo
orange
Nation. That's
for once
what's
an orange for forever orange. So shout out to all of you goat for being our 300
hey,
subscriber
that
on
is a true statement right there. But
all right, guys. Well, with that being said, like I said, thank you again, guys. We'll be here
hey,
next.
but otherwise,
Oh,
you could check us. Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, I got you. See, I hate that fucking delay. So we got you.
Yeah.
Instagram, Dynamic Foxtrot. Twitter, Dynamic Foxtrot. Twitter, X, Chescovia, old soccer guy. We do have TikTok that we're not using as much, but we're still using it, sharing it. So you know where to find us. You know where we're at. We're on the concourse. We're in the press box. We're in the stands. You see the faces. You know the voices. Come say hi to us. Follow us on the platforms. I don't have one of my cards with you to show with me right now, but hey, we'll give them to you. Follow along. We're gonna start now. We're gonna ask y'all to subscribe to something else. No, I'm just kidding. So hey, come over
No,
there,
we're on
share,
the road to
support,
we're on the
keep
road
this
to
guy
400.
happy right there. Keep the fox happy.
Yeah. So guys, like you said,
That's what's up. And
we're
hey,
on the road to 400 now. 300 already done. We're on the road to 400 and beyond. So with that being said, guys, thank you for joining us. We'll be here next week again, next Thursday, 8, like always, and hopefully we have a positive show for you next week as well. With that being said, from on behalf of myself and OSG and all of Noodle Time, um, hold hold it down.
come to life. H is up. Come to
H is
Lions.
up,
Gotta
hold it
talk
down.
to us.
Let's go
Word to your service
Dynamo.
member. H is up.
Hi Kiki.